and welcome to history. For the first time, Sydney FC will host a match in the Asian Champions League, and they could hardly have drawn more formidable opposition. The champions of Japan have arrived as arguably Asia's most powerful club, a team with the history, the resources, the support and the talent to mount a serious challenge for the continent's most coveted club title. It's Sydney FC against Urawa Red Diamonds. Match day 2 in Group E. You're at Aussie Stadium here in Sydney, and both teams are vying for early supremacy after winning their opening Champions League fixtures a fortnight ago. There he is, the man they've all been talking about, Washington, the Brazilian striker in the red shirt. Well, let's check the lineups now, starting with Sydney FC. And after agonising over all the variables, Branko Kalina has decided to reward those who rose so magnificently to the occasion in Shanghai by naming an unchanged 11. Thus, Robbie Middleby and Nikolai Topol-Stanley will sit on either side of the back four. Mark Milligan will anchor the midfield with Ufuk Talay and Steve Corica pushing forward to create the openings for the attacking trio of David Carney, Alex Brosk and David Srilic. The two players returning from injury, Ruben Zadkovic and Terry McFlynn, will have to settle for a place on the bench. An important man tonight for Sydney FC, Stevie Corica, the former Socceroo, scored a wonder goal in Shanghai, a player with J-League experience and certainly a huge influence on the outcome of this match for Sydney FC. Well, we talked about the pedigree, the size, the scale of Urawa Red Diamonds. 9 internationals in their starting 11. Coach Holger Osiek has somewhat predictably adopted a conservative approach, deciding against risking returning playmaker Makoto Hasabe, but he does welcome back key defender Tulio to the side which opened its Champions League campaign with that win over PSC Kadiri. It's nominally a 4-4-2 formation, Tulio marshalling the defence, Yuke Abe and Keita Suzuki screening the midfield, Yamada and Nene offering the width, with Robson supplying the service for the twin strikers Yuichiro Nagai and Washington. The referee is from Malaysia. He's a late replacement, Subkhiddin Salleh. The Saudi officials caught up in red tape, so Salleh will take control of this Group E Champions League match. Branko Kalina has confessed it is the biggest and most important match of his coaching career. Of course, still on an interim contract with Sydney FC. Holger Osiek back for his second stint in charge of the Reds. He had success the first time around. He's aiming to win the Asian Champions League and get Urawa into the FIFA Club World Championships at the end of the year. We're set for kick-off here at Aussie Stadium. Will be the home team to get proceedings underway. Sydney FC in sky blue. Urawa in red.
A wonderful occasion and something we've dreamt about for a long time. We've often looked at that European Champions League midweek fixtures, all the excitement it brings with it, and now we've got our own version. And this is the first time in Sydney tonight.
Topol-Stanley goes down smartly by Yuichiro Nagai. Both Nikolai Topol-Stanley, of course, and Mark Milligan have been involved in a heavy international program in recent weeks with the Australian under-23 side. Here's Middleby. In front of him is Brosk. Urawa have backed off. Now Talay. Given time to measure the cross. It's a poor ball inside, though. It's broken here for Mark Milligan. Inside is David Carney. David Carney, what a start for Sydney FC. Unbelievable. One minute and 1 second into the game, and David Carney has given Sydney FC the dream start.
Wonderful vision, Mark Milligan. The ball played across the edge of the box by Ufuk Talay, half cleared by the Urawa defence. We see here Talay trying to drive the ball across, flicked out into the path of Milligan. We thought he might try the shot, picked out, slide rule ball to Carney, first touch onto his left peg, and the calm as you like finish past the goalkeeper. Milligan, lovely ball, first touch perfect, and the finish exemplary. 1 minute in, Sydney, perfect start.
Urawa goalkeeper Ryota Suzuki can scarcely believe it. Some poor defending there from the Reds. Here's Washington at the other end, trying to make amends straight away. Now Ono, a dangerous ball inside, chested down. The shot from Robson, and it falls into the grateful arms of Clint Bolton. David Carney, what a time to score a goal after a disappointing domestic season. Reborn perhaps under the coaching of Branko Kalina. Now Talay. The switch, picks out Brosk. Middleby pushing forward on the overlap. Brosk comes inside, beats the first man. Cut out by Tulio. Clipped by Middleby, free kick to Urawa. But they're absorbing some heavy early pressure, the team in red.
Yeah, that time Robert Middleby's cynical foul, knew he was away from him, his man was away from him, just took him out in front of the assistant referee. Lucky not to pick up a yellow card in the early going. Urawa bench on their feet. No damage done to Tanaka.
Tulio Tanaka, the J-League's Player of the Year in 2006. Not quite 100% fit, according to his coach, Holger Osiek. Playing in this back three of Urawa alongside Nene and Keisuke Tsuboi. Urawa on the attack. Echuke Abe. Milligan clears up the danger. Now Brosk. Urawa going into this match unbeaten after 3 rounds of the J-League, currently sitting in 5th place. Warmed up for this game with a 2-0 win over Kofu at the weekend, both goals coming from Washington. Topo Stanley goes long. Zrilic, is he quick enough to run it down? Too much on the ball from Nikolai Topo Stanley, but as always, David Zrilic prepared to chase the lost cause. Well, no wonder there's smiles on that Sydney FC bench. Robson Ponte, good run forward from Nagai. Topo Stanley stays with him. Ponte, one of 3 Brazilians in this Urawa starting 11. And the captain, Yamada. Washington double teamed in the corner. Cleaned up well by, man of the moment, David Carney. What a strike rate Washington has. Before this season, 192 goals in 236 games. The only goal so far in this contest came from David Carney. The goalkeeper Suzuki exposed by some poor defending on his favourite left foot. David Carney steers home the shot. And Sydney FC with the first goal of the game.
And it was wonderful awareness, Mark Milligan.
Mistake from Fife. Cover came from Mark Rudin, happy to put that one into the grandstand. A Sydney FC throw. Well, twice in that opening 60 seconds, Urawa backed off Sydney players in that front third, and they were made to pay a very heavy price.
Sydney showing the signs of confidence that they displayed in that Shanghai game right from the start tonight. Willing to keep possession, play the ball across the back. Every time Carney or Brosk gets into the play, they look dangerous.
And they have the first corner of the game, Sydney FC. Topo Stanley moves forward, Rudin, Fife, offering the height in the box. The corner to be taken by David Carney. More pressure on Ryota Suzuki in that Urawa goal. Near post corner. Well cleared by Washington. Here's Brosk. Brosk with the shots. Just past the post from Alex Brosk.
Wonderful work again, Alex Brosk. He's really up for it tonight. Confidence oozing out of him. David Strilic did the bullocking work. Brosk took it off his toe, opened up the shooting angle. Left foot tried to bend it round the keeper. Suzuki looked beaten.
Strong header from Fife over the top of Washington. Dubois wins it back. Good early ball in from Ponte. Washington. And again, Ian Fife sticks to him like glue. Well, Sydney FC captain Mark Rudin making the point before this match that you cannot take your eyes off Washington for one moment. His strike rate confirms that. He's earned his team the first corner. Ponte's delivery is poor, to say the least. Tulio with a header and climbing over the back of his opponent. That will be a free kick, a relieving free kick for Sydney FC. Washington perhaps claiming he might have had his shirt pulled. And the Malaysian referee, Subkhiddin Salleh, asking the Brazilian to tone down his complaints.
And the ball played in from Yamada, pushing and shoving between Rudin and Washington.
"26 goals in 26 games for Washington last season. Joint top goal scorer in the J-League. Prolific scorer as well for his previous club, Tokyo Verde. Rudin pushes forward. Brosk, lovely turn away from Tulio. Early ball in is dangerous as well. And Carney was on the end of things, but under pressure. The Reds clear the danger. It was Suboy.
And lovely work again that time. Alex Brosk, too clever in the tight area, used his body beautifully. Onto his non-favoured right foot, dangerous ball whipped in.
Second corner of the game for Sydney. Again, good delivery from Carney. A foul on the goalkeeper, that's the ruling from the referee. There's no doubt they're up for this one, Sydney FC. They've read the papers, they've heard the talk about how they were underdogs going into this game at home.
That time, aggressive approach. I think it was Alex Brosk backing into Suzuki. Not eyes for the football. Referee seeing it the same way. Free kick.
Copper Stanley. And the Sydney fans now finding their voice. Buoyed, of course, by that early goal from Carney. Milligan, a player with composure beyond his years. Middleby, look at the room here on this near touchline for Robbie Middleby. Now Brosk. Talay, looking for Strilic. Contact there. Sydney number 9. Cleaned up though by Keita Suzuki.
Indication, Urawa not getting any quality possession. That time Suzuki happy just to lump it up the field, try to relieve some of the pressure.
Corica. Late challenge from Ufuk Talay. And it was Keisuke Tsuboi who was on the receiving end. Talay sitting on a booking if he gets another yellow card in this game. He was booked in Shanghai, 2 cards, and you must serve a 1-game suspension. He is the only Sydney player walking the tightrope. And late, very late, was Robbie Middleby. Shinji Ono bearing the brunt.
Lucky again there, Robbie Middleby, to stay out of the referee's book. That's twice now. The first half he's been late on the scene.
Tulio. Ono inside, misdirected. Passing from Urawa in these early stages by their standards has been disappointing. Talay's ball. Superb run from Broski's isolated, needs help. Drilic in the middle, Carney comes to the near post. Brosk trying to get the better of his opponent, Nene, who appeals for a foul, doesn't get it. And in the end, it'll be a corner for Sydney FC.
Wonderful one-on-one defending by Nene there. He was totally isolated. Alex Brosk tried to go one way and the other, twisted and turned, couldn't shake his mark, and Nene finally drew the corner. Wonderful mobility again shown by Brosk, his willingness to run.
A variation here from Sydney from the corner. This one to be swung away from the goalkeeper by Talay. Tulio with the header. Ponte. Urawa looking for the quick break. There was Mark Milligan in the right place at the right time for Sydney FC. Almost 15 minutes gone. It's the home team with their noses in front of this Champions League blockbuster. Brosk. Playing with such confidence at the moment, the team in sky blue. Talay. Cross blocked. Morica's run hasn't been picked up. Keeper Suzuki thought about coming, changed his mind, and in the end it's a clumsy challenge from David Drilic and a relieving free kick for Urawa. The foul on Keita Suzuki.
Yeah, Suzuki too quick there, just nipping in ahead of Drilic, who followed through with the tackle. But wonderful signs for Sydney. You can see the confidence oozing through the team. Talay getting forward, Corica getting forward from midfield, supporting the front three. Really stretching the Urawa defence.
Mistake from Suzuki. Turned over cheaply by Carney. Well, Japanese teams do have a reputation for being poor travellers. They do travel in style, but maybe they're still running out the jet lag. Urawa, these opening 15 minutes or so. Only arrived in Sydney on Monday morning. Here's Fife. Carney tangles with Yamada. It will be a free kick to the visiting team. Yamada. Tulio. Again, the long ball forward from Urawa, and that is a tribute to the pressure being applied on the player in possession by Sydney FC.
Yeah, that time David's Drilic, we saw it time and time again in Shanghai, his willingness to work off the ball. That time left Tulio with no option but to knock it long. Sydney doing a great job at the moment of stepping on in midfield, not allowing the Japanese side to get any quality ball in their front area.
Ponte. Milligan, good First challenge came from Yuka Abe. Talay's ball looking for Middleby, cut out by Ono. Nagai. And it was well read by Topo Stanley. Yamada's out of position. Carney fills the space. He goes out Tsuboi, outside Tsuboi. Another misdirected pass out from defence by Urawa. Very uncharacteristic. Middleby draws the foul from Shinji Ono.
A clever play, Robbie Middleby there. Didn't have too many options. Could have come out to Talay. Chose to go on his own. Probably knocked the ball away. It was go over the touchline, but Ono came in late. Robbie Middleby smart enough to feel the contact, go down, draw the free kick in a dangerous area, especially with the in-swinging ball to come from Carney.
Well, 60% of the possession in this early phase with Sydney FC. They have a goal to show for it. Carney over the dead ball. Plenty of targets inside that penalty area. Ryota Suzuki has cleared the box. The ball close to the goalkeeper. And again, it was Mark Rudin applying the pressure. And again, the foul awarded to Suzuki.
Physical presence of Mark Rudin causing problems for the Urawa defence. That time, the in-swinging ball from Carney. Vicious curving ball on top of the goalkeeper. Not much in the challenge, in my opinion, but we know that goalkeepers can be a protected species.
Well, I was at Sydney FC training on Monday, and they did spend a long time working on their set pieces, and in particular their runs off the ball for those set pieces. The former NSL great goal scorer in his day, Des Martin, now working with the Sydney FC forwards. Milligan has turned it over. Here's Ponte. Milligan back to recover. Corica now. Well, keeping possession very well, Sydney. Hesitation here from Urawa, and Brosk almost seized upon it. Tulio at full stretch has to go back to his goalkeeper. And now Carney. Look at the room here for David Carney. Inside is Brosk. Plays the 1-2. Carney. The ball sticks under his boots. Still going David Carney. Down he goes. And what is the referee rule? It's a penalty. The goal scorer has drawn the foul inside the box. And Sydney FC with a chance to double their advantage.
And again, it was the speed, the skill. Alex Brosk, David Carney causing havoc. The little wall pass beautifully weighted. Carney thought the chance had gone, stepped on the ball, but then used strength and tenacity and a lovely bit of skill. Knocked it through the legs of Tsuboi. Tried to get through. I think it was Tulio just with the touch. Not much contact, but enough for Carney to go to the ground. Referee had a great view of it, pointed straight to the spot. Wonderful work again, David Carney.
Well, big call from Subkhiddin Salleh, the Malaysian referee, who was well placed. And the responsibility now falls on the shoulders of Ufuk Talay. Talay scores. Sydney double their advantage, and Urawa in all sorts of trouble. 22 minutes gone. It's Sydney FC 2, Urawa Red Diamonds.
dream start in Shanghai, tonight replicated here at Aussie Stadium. Wonderfully cool penalty from Ufuk Talay. Measured run up, calmly stroking it past the goalkeeper.
Well, they are shell-shocked, the Japanese champions. A disastrous start for them.
Urawa not coping at all with the speed and mobility of David Carney and Alex Brosk. Terrorising them every time they get in possession. Urawa getting no possession in midfield, stifled by the close checking Sydney midfield. And then, as we said, the speed and mobility of Brosk and Carney, absolutely devastating.
Urawa have a free kick. Tulio has moved forward. Nene is there as well. Washington an obvious target. How will Sydney cope with this situation? Whipped in by Ono. Washington. And eventually cleared by David Zrillich. Chance here for Topol Stanley to settle on the ball. There's a Sydney player down behind play. For the moment, Sydney down to 10 men. Here's Nene. He does the sporting thing, the Brazilian. Puts the ball over the line. And it's Mark Milligan, I think, who's in some trouble.
A high foot from Robson Ponte. In this arm, unintentional, I think, as he spun around, the left arm making contact with Mark Milligan's face. Both players going for the high bouncing ball. I think Robson Ponte originally turning his back to protect himself as the arm came through, made contact with Mark Milligan in the face.
No real excitement as yet from Branko Kalina, despite this wonderful start for Sydney FC. Robson Ponte.
You see the high feet from both players. I think Robson Ponte turned his back to protect himself initially. The arm swung round and made contact. Nothing intentional or malicious involved, just unluckily connecting with the face of Mark Milligan, who's still in a lot of trouble.
Well, maybe some concussion here for Milligan. The stretcher is out. Sydney can ill afford to lose him, although they do have Terry McFlynn back in harness after 5 weeks on the sideline with an injury. He is the most obvious replacement. We'll take another look at the penalty, though, from Ufuk Talay.
Wonderful work. David Carney turned Tulio, and then the little nutmeg was superb on Saboy. The arm went across. Tulio's leg came across. He went down. Wonderful penalty from Ufuk Talay. Calm as you like. Waited for the keeper to move to his right and stroked it the other side. As we see Mark Milligan on his feet, walking a little gingerly there, not moving too well.
Well, Sydney FC's most glamorous shareholder, the Hollywood actor Anthony LaPaglia, has made his way across from Los Angeles to enjoy the occasion. Certainly the biggest home game that Sydney FC have had in their short history, although of course they did play in the Club World Championships in Japan at the end of 2005. LaPaglia was there as well on that occasion. Another look at the elbow, or shall we say the swinging arm, from Robson Ponte, catching Mark Milligan unawares. And Sydney FC doing themselves proud in the Club World Championships, losing their first game to Deportivo Saprissa, but winning the playoff for 5th and 6th against Al Ahly of Egypt. Different personnel on the Sydney FC side these days, of course. No more Dwight York. He's the most obvious absentee. They've changed coaches twice since then. Pierre Libarski now coaching in Japan with the 2nd Division side of Vispa Fukuoka. And of course, the former England captain Terry Butcher, his reign ended prematurely and controversially at the end of the A-League season, replaced by Branko Kalina. So for the first time in their short history, Sydney FC have a homegrown coach in charge.
And the influence of Branko Kalina very evident in the first game and a bit that we've seen. confident play, Sydney. Keeping possession, moving through midfield.
Here's Corica. Middle beat and straight offside.
Line ball decision there. Robbie Middleby just straying into an offside position, looking for the return ball from David Zrilic. More positive movement by Sydney.
And another poor ball from Tulio. His distribution has been well below his normal standards. Of course, they're coming back from injury. Struggling for match fitness, perhaps. And touch. Here's Yuki Abe. Opens up the space for Yamada. Deep cross looking for Nagai. Wins the ball in the air. And Ufuk Talay alert to the threat just as Ponte lined up the shot. A long ball forward from Talay looking for Zrilic. Oh no. Tulio, great switch. Space for Yamada. Topo Stanley needs to get across there and close down the room. He's done that. Inside comes Yamada. Squares it up for Ponte. The shot from Ponte. A slide rule finish from the Brazilian has put Urawa right back into the contest.
Wonderful counter-attack there from Urawa and clinical finishing from Robson Ponte. There's been a significant lack of influence from the playmaker. Sydney done a good job thus far of keeping him out of the play, but it was Yamada who ran at Topo Stanley. He held him up, stopped him from crossing, but he bided his time and then rolled a beautiful, inviting ball into the path of Robson Ponte, who had a lot of work to do. But it was a wonderful finish into the far corner across the face of Clint Bolt.
Well, that is a shot of geometric precision from Robson Ponte. And Urawa, who have been outplayed for most of this match, now have a lifeline. Half an hour gone. We've had 3 goals already here at Aussie Stadium. And the perfect response from the champions of Japan. Brosk. It's past Nene. It's the return ball from Carney. And the rebound favours Brosk as well. That will be another corner for Sydney FC. A reward for the perseverance of Alex Brosk.
Yeah, good positive response from Sydney. Alex Brosk again dangerous, playing him and Carney. Wonderful combination play.
Contact off the ball, in front of that Urawa goal. Carney's delivery towards the near post, cleared by Washington. The one factor which may become a big issue as this game wears on is, of course, match fitness. Sydney FC out of season. They finished their A-League commitments in early February, just 1 game in the last 6 weeks for Sydney FC. Of course, Urawa building into the J-League season. They've played 3 games already.
And we did see evidence of that in the Shanghai game. Sydney did tire noticeably towards the end of that game.
Milligan. Suzuki. Right is Yamada. Suzuki continues his run. Milligan slides in with a well-timed challenge. The 4 of these Urawa players, Tsuboi, Suzuki, Abe, and the injured and Soma have been called up by the Japanese coach Ivica Ozim for friendly international against Peru in Yokohama on Sunday. So a hectic schedule for these Urawa players. Risky back pass from 5, putting Bolton under pressure. Nene. Danger here for Sydney. Ponte with the shot. Gets around the ball. And relief there for Clint Bolton.
Sydney,
Urawa fans have rediscovered their voice.
that time Sydney nearly the architects of their own demise, dwelling on the ball in the back third, allowing Urawa to step forward, win possession. Robson took the shot early, confidence high after his goal. That time dragged it wide of the near post.
Robson with extensive experience in the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, Wolfsburg as well. Uncapped by Brazil. It's a key member of this Urawa side. Real German flavour to Urawa. Of course, Osiek, their coach, replacing another German, Guido Buchwald, who steered Urawa to their first ever J-League championship last season. As we see Nene and Brosk collide.
Alex Brosk doing a good job there of holding his ground, using his body. Nene coming from behind, trying to win the ball. He's come off second best, gave away the foul, but may have twisted his knee in the incident. Wonderful first half entertainment here, some clinical finishing.
Well, a key period this for Sydney FC, having worked so hard to get that 2-goal cushion. They have conceded now.
It was wonderful play. Yamada calm, holding onto the ball, allowing Robson to find the position and rolled an inviting ball across, and the finish was unerring right into the corner. Clint Bolton, no chance.
Sydney will be desperate not to concede another before the break. Urawa now have their tails up after that response from Ponte. The man on the ball, Yamada. Julio inserts himself into midfield. Long ball forward cut out by Rudin. Five's header. Julio continues to push forward. Ponte waits for the overlap from Yamada, goes inside instead. Rudin was well positioned. The flexibility of this Urawa team is such a feature of their play. We have defenders playing as strikers, midfielders dropping back into defence. So many interchanging of positions.
And a noticeable lifting in confidence since the goal. Robson Ponte now getting on the ball frequently. Yamada, the skipper, starting to come into the play as well. Getting a lot more ball in midfield.
Carney. Yuki Abe. The up and under. Side flag against Stevie Corica. Well, it's somewhat of a surprise, really, that Sydney are playing so well without a great deal of influence from Steve Corica. It's always said that when he plays well, Sydney play well, but it's been Brosk and Carney, really, who have been the money men so far.
Definitely, as we see Urawa Reds making a substitution.
That's Makoto Hasabe, who has been introduced. Creative influence on this Urawa side. Back from injury, came off the bench against Kofu at the weekend.
Nene obviously coming down worse for wear after that incident involving Alex Brosk, unable to continue.
May well be that Abe will now move back into defence for Urawa. Yuki Abe can play anywhere in defence and in midfield. It's Ono. of the corner. Washington goes to the back post. Good delivery. Looking for Tulio. Not cleared by Sydney. It's broken now for Ponte. Ono. Slides it in for Ponte. Skips past Rudin, who recovers well, and that will be a goal kick.
Great recovery tackle there. Lovely footwork. Robson Ponte eluding the first tackle from Mark Rudin, but then he came back hard and won the goal kick. But we're starting to see Robson's influence coming to the fore. They look for him every time in the attacking half.
Asabe. Once again, Yamada. There's plenty of room to move on that right-hand side. It's something David Carney will need to watch. Good ball into the channel, picked up by Nagai. Ross. And Middleby looks as though he may have picked up a hamstring problem there. He's in trouble. Robbie Middleby stretching for the ball. Carney. Still going, David Carney, putting real pressure on this Urawa defence. It was Yamada, the skipper, who had to come across from that right-hand side, but Robbie Middleby, in the meantime, looks to be in plenty of bother.
That time nipping in to clear his line, stretched hard, was on the sprint as he strode out. He pulled up short, signalled to the bench straight away. Not sure whether it was just a cramping or he's done some damage to that hamstring. The Sydney bench will give him the benefit of the doubt for a few minutes at least.
5 minutes until half-time. It's Sydney FC clinging on to this 2-1 lead against the champions of Japan, Urawa Red Diamonds. They're starting to hit their straps, the team in red. Their passing game now a lot more fluent. Rosk, picked out by Talay. Good use of the body there by Tulio Tanaka.
Robbie Middleby in a lot of trouble, limping heavily as Ruben Zadkovic warms up on the sideline.
Well, there was a lot of talk in the last 24 hours that Zadkovic may in fact have started ahead of Robbie Middleby. Asabe, Ponte, Middleby, struggling to keep pace. Here he is, happy to see it over the sideline. He cannot continue, Robbie Middleby. Sydney need to make the change and need to make it quickly. Swung in there by Suzuki. Brosk.
Wonderful covering from Abe there. It looked for a split second as though Carney would be clear on goal, but Abe came across from that left defensive position to tidy up.
Asabe slides it in for Yamada. He's in the clear. Washington have his pocket picked by Steve Corica. But now it's Sydney under the pressure. The change can be made. The ball over the touchline is going to be Robbie Middleby, who will succumb to that injury. Ruben Zadkovic, it'll be a straight swap, I would imagine.
Urawa really starting to get some joy down that right-hand flank. That time the ball cut back towards Washington. The ball was just behind him, allowing Stevie Corica to nick in, just towed it away from the big striker. But again, it was Yamada attacking down that right flank.
Nervous moments for Branko Kolina. Well aware of the pedigree and the quality of this Urawa squad. a different game now. It's Urawa with the possession. And it's Sydney FC. They're getting the sternest examination. Ponte looking to play the wall pass with Washington. Well defended though by Mark Rudin. Sydney giving it away cheaply. Fife looks back at his goalkeeper. Keeps possession well. Talay. Zatkovic with his first touch. Out of position now, Zatkovic, having conceded cheap possession. An appeal for a handball there by Ponte, not given by the referee. Milligan slides in, the studs were showing. The card is out from the top pocket of Mr. Salleh. And Milligan receives the first caution of the game.
Probably a good decision there from the referee, who was right on the spot. Milligan lunging with the studs showing. A no-no in international football. That time, Sydney guilty of sloppiness in possession. The intensity has really lifted from the Japanese side since that equaliser. The influence of Robson Ponte starting to come to the fore. Sydney now struggling to keep possession in any meaningful sense.
Well, they'll be relieved to hear the half-time whistle, Sydney FC. Urawa have stepped up another gear. Zatkovic, Talay in a tight area. He's dispossessed by Hasabe. Here's Ono. Ponte. Hasabe. What a ball from Hasabe. Yamada, the captain. Ono with a shot. Comfortable save for Clint Bolton in the end.
A lovely switch of the play that time, Urawa. They love bringing Yamada into the play. He holds his wide position brilliantly, allowing the play to build up and then releasing himself into the play. Overhits the pass. Yuichiro Nagai not too impressed with the service. And again, careless in possession, Sydney FC. Their passing game starting to fray at the edges. Well, it's been a fabulous first half of football here at Aussie Stadium. Sydney FC given the dream start by David Carney, a goal after 1 minute and 2 seconds. They doubled that advantage with a penalty from Ufuk Talay, but the response from Robson Ponte has put Urawa Red Diamonds right back into the game. The halftime score, Sydney FC 2, Urawa 1. Flynn in the number 15 shirt is out there for the home side. Grilic is the player who's made way. The second half underway here at Aussie Stadium. Sydney leading Urawa 2-1. A reshaped Sydney formation from Branko Kalina. Milligan across to right back. Brosk into the central striking role. McFlynn into a defensive midfield position. Maybe a reflection of the concern from Branko Kalina, the way that game developed in the last 15 minutes of the first half. Yeah, definitely a sign there. Branko Kalina, we see Ruben Zatkovic taking up a left-sided position there. Obviously the threat of Yamada the worry for Sydney. Zadkovic now patrolling that part of the field.
Here's McFlynn. Corica. Sydney FC really do need a major contribution from Steve Corica in this second half, just to steady the ship, just to keep possession in tight areas. Here's Talay. Switch towards Carney. Delightful pass from Ufuk Talay. Carney, the goal scorer. Showing the line there by Yuichiro Nagai. And that will be a corner. Nagai having moved across to the left-hand side of defence, and the reshuffle caused by that injury to Nene in the first half. Ono has conceded the corner. Then it comes from Talay. Again, Washington helping out his defence. Ball inside from Ufuk Talay. Careless, really. Corica's done well to win the throw. Breaks now for Ono. Get in front of Zadkovic, who didn't dive in, drew the mistake. Big job for Ruben Zadkovic. Yamada increasingly influential as that first half wore on. The Urawa skipper, such a threat down this right-hand side. Robson Ponte, the goal scorer for the team in red, much to the delight of those travelling fans. They average over 45,000 a game, Urawa. It'll be even higher if they did play all their games at their Saitama Stadium. But of course, they do have a deal to keep playing some home matches at the Komaba Stadium, which only has a capacity of around 22,000. You talk about those crowds, you talk about the budget of around $65 million a year. This is a big club by world standards, let alone Asian standards.
Oh, incredible. And we talked about it earlier. It doesn't buy you success, but what it does do, it allows you to set up the infrastructure, recruit well, and just set yourself such high standards.
Holger also yakking the recruiting stakes, only bringing in one new face from last season. That is the utility Yuichiro Nagai from Jeff United. Well, there is a famous face in a standard, one well known to Japanese fans as well. The three-time Olympian Ian Thorpe, recently retired, of course. All the stars have come out to play. Here's Carney. Rosk. Bolton. Ufuk Talay. 2 goals in 2 matches in the Asian Champions League so far for Ufuk Talay. Carney doesn't get a lot of support. Cuts inside Abe. Alex Brosk will be happier playing in this role. He made no secret of the fact during the A-League season that he much preferred to play as a central striker. Didn't enjoy playing on the left-hand side. He gets his opportunity in the second half. Washington now for Ono. Robson in behind. The shot was on target. Lacked the power to threaten the goal of Clint Bolton.
Yeah, lovely counter-attack from Urawa there. Ufuk Talay guilty of being sloppy in possession in the centre of midfield, and they pounced.
Brosk. Clackers into the back of Tulio Tanaka. Well, if you're wondering why this combination between David Carney and Alex Brosk is virtually telepathic. They did go to high school together. They've known each other for a long time at Westfield High, of course, in the western suburbs of Sydney. Reunited this season at Sydney FC. Brosk making the move from Queensland Raw, and David Carney back in Australia the last couple of years after a long spell at the English club Everton, where he was a teammate through the youth ranks of Wayne Rooney. McFlynn. Rudin. Tugging the shirt there by Tulio Tanaka. Clever play from Alex Brosk.
Used his body brilliantly on that occasion. What we're seeing now, though, is Sydney not getting that comfortable possession in midfield. That time, Mark Rudin having to knock the long ball looking for Brosk. It was Brosk good use of the body that drew the free kick, but probably not an ideal situation looking for him with the long ball.
Ordinary pass from Talay. Oh no, much more involved. And McFlynn at full stretch under pressure from Washington has done well. Talay equally cool under pressure. Ball forward from Topo Stanley. Here comes the goalkeeper, Ryoto Suzuki. Well, a lot of the publicity going into this match surrounding Washington, Urawa's top goal scorer, but he has been largely peripheral. And interesting that in the first Asian Champions League match against Pirsik Kadiri, he was taken off midway through the first half by Holger Osiek and was none too happy. Has since apologised for his reaction when he was replaced by Okano, but again, not really seeing the best of Washington in this match.
Now, Fife and Rudin doing a wonderful job between them of keeping Washington out of the play. Admittedly, there was large parts of the first half where Urawa didn't have a lot of possession.
Strong defensive header from Topo Stanley, but it's broken for Yamada. Gets past Topo Stanley. Yamada. Ponte keeps it in play. This time Topo Stanley does well. Ponte's ball is a dangerous one. Bolton has spilled it. Simple chance for Urawa. Disaster for Clint Bolton, and it's Yuichiro Nagai who levels things up for the champions of Japan. It's 2-2 here at Aussie Stadium.
Yeah, disappointment there. Clint Bolton will put his hand up with that one, but it was a sustained little period of pressure. For Topo Stanley under a lot of pressure. That time Robson Ponte whipping the ball in. It appeared as though Bolton had it comfortably. Once he came to ground, the ball went out of his grasp. On a plate for Nagai, who we haven't seen a lot of. We talked about Washington not being influential. Nagai's been even less so.
Well, Sydney FC goalkeeping coach Jimmy Fraser, his reaction tells the story. A mistake from Clint Bolton has opened the door for Urawa Red Diamonds, who of course were trailing 2-0 after just 20 minutes of play. They've now squared it up at 2 apiece, and a real test of character here for Sydney.
Got to give credit to the Japanese side. 2-0 down away from home. Back in the contest now at 2-2 and looking the better side.
Well, he can't dwell on it, Clint Bolton. It's history now. Arguably the outstanding goalkeeper in the A-League over the last couple of seasons. But he's made a big mistake on the big stage. Carney trying to make amends. Zankiewicz climbs, the header clears the frame of the goal. That will do Sydney's confidence some good.
Yeah, good work again. It was Carney made the run into the channel and found brilliantly by McFlynn. The little chip ball to the back post. Zadkovic did well to get in ahead of his marker. Won the contest, just couldn't keep the header down. Harmlessly over the crossbar. Good retaliation from Sydney. But again, it was that play down the right-hand flank causing all the damage. First by Yamada, then by Robson Ponte, that led to the goal.
7 shots to 4 in favour of Urawa Red Diamonds. They have 2 goals to show for it. A switch from Keita Suzuki, read by Milligan, now playing as a right fullback. Good challenge from Tulio to dispossess Corica. Great run here from Nagai. Squares it up for Washington. Well, the first real sign of a threat from Washington. Top boy Stanley did well to stay with him.
You talk about confidence being a big thing in sport. What about Nagai there? Haven't seen him all night. He scored a goal and then wonderful bit of play here. Turned his man, cut inside, drove straight at the heart of the Sydney defence and then put it on a plate for Washington, who just couldn't get enough contact to steer it past Cliff Bolton.
Well, it will be a second change now from Holger Osiek. The player about to come on is Tadaki Hirakawa. And the player who makes way is the skipper, Yamada. A surprise for some, perhaps an injury for the captain. But that will be a relief, I'm sure, for Branko Kalina. Yamada such a threat on the right-hand side. And again, Urawa win the ball back in midfield. Asabe. Ponte, good ball inside. Superb covering challenge on Washington. The danger still not cleared by Sydney. And the pressure relentless from Urawa. McFlynn behind play. Milligan is injured. Sydney keep possession. Zadkovic goes down. The referee says that's a foul, and Tulio will get his name taken and a yellow card and a set piece opportunity for Sydney.
And Tulio not at all happy with Terry McFlynn. Felt he should have put the ball into touch.
Well, it was his own player that was down.
Definitely. Lovely flowing move again by the Urawa Red Diamonds, and it was a saving tackle by Milligan, dispossessing Washington. Then at the other end, Ruben Zadkovic skipping past what looked like it could have been the last man, Tulio, who left the leg there and brought him down.
Well, I'm not sure what they're complaining about, these Ottawa players. It was Sydney's option to play that ball out. It was their player that was down. They have a free kick in fighting position, threatening position. They've been working on their set pieces. What can Sydney come up with here? Corica is over the dead ball. The free kick just outside the box, almost directly in front of goal. The entire Ottawa team, bar one, back inside their own penalty area. Corica, Stevie Corica, the save from Suzuki. And that will be a corner.
Stevie Corica that time bending it around the wall. Credit the goalkeeper with a fine save. Couldn't hang on to it, palmed it away. Would not have seen it till late through the crowd of players.
Corner comes in from Sydney. it wide. Talay's ball is deep. Free header from Rudin. The shot from Ruben Zatkovic is well over the crossbar. Mark Rudin, perhaps a little bit unselfish.
We see the goalkeeper's view here, the bending ball coming over the top of the defensive wall. Credit Suzuki with the save. He wouldn't have seen it till late. Then, again, the wide ball whipped in. Rudin tried to tee it up for Corica, a bit behind him. In the end, it fell for Zatkovic. He couldn't keep his left foot shut down. The intensity lifting dramatically in the last 5 minutes. Both sets of fans urging their sides on, looking for that winning goal.
Nikolai Topor-Stanley on his way to Perth Glory next season. Strange situation in some ways, playing for one club in the Asian Champions League, on your way to a new club in the A-League. Fife, and a late flag for offside against Washington. Holger Osiek has already made 2 changes. By his own admission, he's a conservative coach when it comes to substitutions. He's only used 13 players in the 3 J-League games so far. Ponte. Here's Talay. He's looking tired now, David Carney. Skills from Corica. Shoulder to shoulder with Asabe. And another card in the top pocket of the Malaysian referee, Subkhiddin Salleh. Harsh, perhaps, on Makoto Hasabe.
Yeah, didn't look a lot in it. Good contest. Stevie Corica, wonderful skills in driving at the Urawa defence. The arm went across. Not a lot in it. Corica actually kept possession.
A few signs in the last couple of minutes that Sydney might have been reinvigorated. 20 minutes remaining in this Group E match of the Asian Champions League. Sydney FC 2, Urawa Red Diamonds 2. Both teams coming into this match after winning their opening matches. Sydney's perhaps the more impressive of the 2 results. That stunning 2-1 away victory against Shanghai Shenhua. Topor-Stanley lumps it forward. Boy's clearing header. Talay. What are his options? Carney peels off to the right-hand side. Overhitting the pass, though, at the crucial juncture, Ufuk Talay. Strong 50-50 between Milligan and Abe. It's opened up now for Urawa. Here comes Nagai. And good covering there from Ufuk Talay to draw the foul and give his team a breather.
Wonderful work from Ufuk Talay. He'd be the first one to say he was guilty of giving the ball away in his other half of the field. Tracked back, helped out Mark Milligan, who was getting turned inside out by Nagai, and ultimately won the free kick to relieve the pressure. Sydney need to hang on to the football in these last 20 minutes.
Work from Milligan. Corica. Topor-Stanley. Zatkovic. the forward run of David Carney. On the other side of the field, Shinji Ono may have a problem. Urawa midfielder, 55 caps for Japan. Shinji Ono has picked up a knock. I've already made 2 changes. Visiting team.
Yeah, it was just caught late by Ufuk Talay there as he spun around. Played the ball first time. Both sets of substitutes continue to warm up behind the goal.
Both teams have made 2 changes already. Running across the line, didn't time it right. It's an offside call.
At that time, just coming back into an onside position from an offside position, the flag went up. Better movement there from Sydney. Combination between Talay and Carney, keeping the ball in midfield, allowing the space to open up for Grosk.
Found a new lease of life. Corica stepping up to the plate in the last 10 minutes or so. Steve Corica. Well cut out there by Keita Suzuki. That's his trademark. Breaks now for the substitute. Hirakawa clatters into Topo Stanley. And again, the referee has reached into that top pocket. So the 4th card now from Subkhiddin Salleh, second to a Sydney FC player.
Again, that time, Urawa choosing that right flank to attack down. They lure everyone to the other side of the park, then release the player. That time, Topo Stanley, a little bit unlucky. Japanese player getting very close to him, towing it past him. Nowhere else really for the big man to go. Brought him down.
Hirakawa, Asabe, Ono, who looks to be okay. Good run from Asabe, good idea from Shinji Ono. A young man with a big reputation, Makoto Asabe. Favourite under the new Japanese coach. Ivica Osim. What does Sydney FC do here? Do they hold what they have, or do they go for the 3 points?
I think it's in their nature to go for the 3 points. What they need to do is hang on to the football, allow the play to build up, then the spaces will open.
Zadkovic. Rather ambitious attempt there from the substitute Ruben Zadkovic. Can't fault a young man for trying. Proving his versatility already in this game. Urawa have 3 very good goalkeepers at their disposal. Good work from Topo Stanley. Pressure applied by Shinji Ono. Just over 7 minutes remaining here at Aussie Stadium. It's still 2-2 between Urawa, the champions of Japan, and Sydney FC of Australia. Grosk. Just strength really there from Keisuke Tsuboi. Fatigue from Steve Corica. Well, Well, Sydney FC did need Corrigan to steady the ship in the second half. He's done just that. Another player down in the meantime. It's the substitute, Hirakawa. Caught by Ruben Zatkovic. It's been a competitive game. It's been physical at times, but never malicious. Ruben Zatkovic colliding with Nadaki Hirakawa. And those Reds fans, you get the feeling they'll be quite happy to go home with a point.
Definitely, especially after being 2-0 down in the first half away from home. As the momentum swung, they probably eyed off the 3 points, but I think now the game's settled down. That time, there's been a few of those balls played into the gap in between the defender and the striker. The striker sticking a leg out, trying to get some contact, the player coming through.
We may have rolled his left ankle there. Hirakawa under the challenge from Zatkovic. This leg certainly did get caught awkwardly. As you can see there, the ankle turning under the challenge. And the Urawa medical staff just checking on his condition, wondering whether they will have to make a third and final change. Nagai. Washington lumbers forward. Nagai with a shot. Turns away from the defender. The shot was on target. Bolton well positioned. Well, he's such a tough marker on himself, Clint Bolton. He won't need anyone to remind him that it was his mistake which gifted Urawa the equaliser. He'll be more disappointed with himself than anyone at this club will be in him. It's an unforgiving place at times. That area in front of the goal, there's nowhere to hide.
Definitely not, and Clint Bolton sets himself high standards, but I think he's got a few credits in the bank. Been a wonderful servant for Sydney in the 2 seasons so far in the A-League. As Urawa make their change.
They have been forced to make that change by the injury to the substitute Hirakawa. It's Hosagai, Hajime Hosagai, who's on. Another right-sided player here with his first touch. Full of energy, as you'd expect. Ono's ball inside. Watched all the way by Clint Bolton. The quick release picks out David Carney. Good challenge from Yuka Abe. Washington. Ono. And a hopeful appeal there from Terry McFinn for offside. He got the decision. But they all stood and waited here, Sydney FC. It was a tight call as well.
Yeah, line ball on the touch forward from Ono. McFlynn allowing his man to run into the offside position.
There is Hajime Hosagai. Shot here from Washington, but it's not been his night. He's toiled, he's battled. The chances haven't really fallen.
A lovely bit of vision there from Robson Ponte as Washington spun off his marker into the left channel. The ball was lobbed beautifully into his path by Robson Ponte. Took the shot early, left foot volley, harmlessly over the crossbar.
Milligan beaten on that far side. Deep ball looking for Hosagai. It really is something of a miracle that Washington is even playing at this level. Of course, he had 2 major heart operations in 2002 after aneurysms were detected during his spell with the Turkish side Fenerbahce. Would have been enough to put most players out of the game. It is a reason why he didn't return to Europe. it is the reason why he continued to play in Asia, where he felt the demands physically on his body wouldn't be so great. Very much at home in the J-League. Washington capped 9 times by Brazil, including a game against Australia in the 2001 Confederations Cup, the bronze medal playoff, the only time Australia have beaten Brazil at full international level. A memorable day for the team in green and gold. Not so memorable, of course, for the likes of Washington.
Was that his last game, perhaps?
He's played a couple of times since, but it was certainly the last game for the coach, Emerson Liao, who was actually sacked at the transit lounge of Tokyo Airport on his way home. An unforgiving bunch, aren't they, the Brazilian supporters?
Definitely high standards.
Just over a minute away from the 90-minute mark here at Aussie Stadium. Is there time for a late show from either side? Yuichiro Nagai. Given no time to settle by David Carney. Support arrives from Yuki Abe. Sydney slow to react. Danger here for Sydney. And it was Milligan with the recovery in the nick of time. The first time really in the second half that Yuki Abe has pushed forward. And he almost got his reward.
Wonderful acceleration. Went past Broston. Took Milligan to the bottom. And looked like he was going to put it on the plate for Tulio. A great covering defence by Mark Milligan to block it away.
The danger not over for Sydney FC. A corner here from Ponte. Bolton under the high ball, has dropped it and gets away with it this time. A few hearts and a few mouths there. 2 minutes to be added on to the end of the match. Setkovic on a 50-metre run. Carney. Talay's early ball. Half cleared by Tulio. Hassabe. Surging run from Hassabe. Ponte has to stretch. Milligan slow to get across. Urawa have numbers. Ponte looking for Ono. Sydney have to stay alert here. Rudin's been dragged out of the centre. Here's Suzuki. Abe now. A late flourish here from Urawa. Osagai. Ono. And Topor Stanley just happy to lump that one over the halfway line. Done with a bit more composure there, Sydney, but offside is Robson Ponte, and there'll be a chance for the Sydney players to take a breather. We're into the final 60 seconds of what has been a thrilling Group E encounter in the Asian Champions League.
Tired legs out there for both sides, Sydney in particular, but a wonderful job again by Sydney Football Club.
McFlynn. Corica. That's fallen behind Ruben Zetkovic. A look at the watch from the Malaysian referee, Subkhiddin Salleh. In fact, there is the final whistle. Well, it might be considered the one that got away by Sydney FC, but in the end, they should be pleased with the result against the champions of Japan. It's finished 2-2 here between Urawa Red Diamonds and Sydney FC. Both teams on course perhaps to qualify from a difficult group. The final score here at Aussie Stadium, Sydney FC 2, Urawa Red Diamonds 2.